there's 9 salesmen now close by my tent, and they're the Dogon men, they're young men, and they have all their wares out to sell. And we say, merci, non, but it doesn't help. I bought one thing from them for it looked good, and it was good, and I was happy to buy it, but I just don't buy just to be buying. The hikers had a hot, rocky trip, and we went to the escarpment then, in the trucks, you know. It's a huge area. It's way up there, and they have a well and a spring, and it supplied a huge area of water. So they're doing fine. As long as you've got water, you're doing fine. They had fields and fields and fields of scallions. They grow them in kind of like terrace areas or small plots. And God, what a cool, inviting sight that is, you know, people working there in the cool water, you know. They also have corn and millet. And we stopped at an encampment. This is what they call places. They're little hotels. People can stop and rest, and they have a restaurant sometime. This was Sagaway town, and we got the toilets were outside. You know, where's the toilet? The toilet, and they point. You know, and this was the kind that had the hole. But on the side, they had 2 raised up areas for 1 foot here and 1 foot there. They were kind of ribbed. I call them the ribbed foot toilets. And they were more high class than just a hole with nothing or no hole at all. Then we went down the mountain to going to see some more Muslim mosques. It's out of 100%, 99% of the people are Muslims, and there's 1% are Christians. And I had said to Roberto on a Sunday, you know, do we go to church? And he says, well, we can never find the church. He said, once I found the church, and I went. And he used to be a priest, so that was interesting. When I was so sick, I said, Roberta, could I come to you for my last confession? I think I'm going to die. Oh, God. So, anyway, we went, I have it written down here, Bandia Glara, Mali. So, obviously, we're in Mali now. Oh, we went there. Here's where it was, at the Bandia Glara. And then it was a cave. We went to the cave, not really cave, but almost a cave, and it was a place of the circumcision, and it had everybody that had been circumcised or whatever had written and put in big pictures or something like that. It didn't look like pictures, but something kind of abstract drawings were up there, and he was explaining about the circumcisions and what happens and so forth and so on. So our cots are comfortable in our tents, and Roberto comes in with hot water and hot coffee every morning. Isn't that fantastic? At 6 a.m. here he is. Good morning. When we're eating, we don't have salads, hardly at all. No salads, and definitely no desserts, which I miss a lot, but, you know, it'll be good for me. Some places in the hotels they have a little air conditioning, and some places they have windows that open, you know. Now in Neongoro village, the Dogon people are like the Pueblo people, like the Anasazi peoples, you know. It's set, the village was set in a canyon, like the end of a canyon where it gets real small, and half of the village was all rock on one side and on the other. It kind of made like a V-shaped village. And there was lots of climbing, and tiny houses. It's just amazing how tiny the houses are. little tiny rooms. You wonder what is it, why? What is so many little? Well, one is to store the grain in, one is for cooking, and one is for curling up and sleeping, and I don't know. Maybe one is to put the kids in when they're making too much noise. But it was lots of climbing up and down, but nice climbing, nothing that no one couldn't do. I did it with my legs, so anybody could do it. And then we ate lunch under a giant jacaranda tree. And then we went to the market again. If there's a market around, we go. And masses of people. And hot as blazes. It never ends. And there's so much to see. But most of the things to see is what people bring in. They're bringing in their fruits and their vegetables and their animals and their if they make soap or whatever they make, they're bringing